What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the SchuZ Show. Hope you guys are having a phenomenal Friday. If you guys are tuning in on Saturday, hope you guys are having a great Saturday as well. It's going to be a short show today where we're only going to be getting into a fight preview, and then we're going to be getting into some boxing news as well. But as always, if you guys have any comments, questions, topics you guys want me to address on tonight's show, make sure to leave it in the chat, and I will make sure to answer those questions as I go throughout the duration of today's show. Let's get right to it, though. There's going to be a big card going down. It starts in just about, 8-9 hours, and it's going to be taking place in Scotland. A great fight going down between Nathaniel and Cristobal Lorente for the European featherweight title fight. I'm going to be starting off this show by previewing that, so let's get right to it. Scottish standout Nathaniel, who is 14-0 with 7 KOs, challenges Spain's Cristobal Lorente, who is 18-0-1 with 8 KOs. This will be for the European featherweight title, and it's going to be going down in Barcelona. My apologies, Scotland. I got Scotland part mixed up there. But it's going to be going down in Barcelona. For Collins, he is the former British and Commonwealth champion. He's known for his slick southpaw style. He has sharp counters. He's recently dominated a few different guys and his opponents to get to this standpoint in time. As for Lorente, he's the reigning European champion. He's unbeaten, fighting at home. He's claimed the title with a decision win over Morrell Forte. He defended it against Jordan Gale. Now he fights Nathaniel Collins. Collins is a southpaw. He's got excellent footwork, high IQ as well. He also thrives in rhythm, while Lorente is an orthodox, compact pressure fighter with strong bodywork. This is going to be an interesting fighter because if Nathaniel Collins pulls this off, he will be the first Scottish fighter to ever win the European featherweight champion since Paul Appleby. As for Lorente, he wants to prove he's more than a regional champion and break into the world ranks. Nathaniel Collins is a man that has set himself up to be in very successful position where he could make that world jump if he wins the fight this weekend. Obviously, could have made a jump without going the European route. He wanted to properly build himself up, go the right order of steps. And if he now defeats this and gets the European title, he's firmly in the mix now to be able to make that jump and fight on the world stage now. So we'll see what happens here. Personally, here's my guess. I do believe that in about 12-ish, 13, 14 hours, whatever it might be, that Scotland will indeed have their first European featherweight champion since Paul Appleby. And I think Nathaniel Collins will make that jump onto the world scene. His movement and timing should edge in a tactical battle on the road. I think this will come by decision. I do not see a knockout happening here, but I see this fight being a very interesting fight where Nathaniel Collins prevails. He becomes the European champion, and we're going to start talking about him in the sense of saying, okay, who's next for him on the world scene at the featherweight stage? Obviously, lots of names he could get himself into, but I'll wait to hold on to that discussion until he actually pulls that job off. Let's go to another fight that I'm very intrigued in. It's going to be on the undercard. Willy Hutchinson versus Mark Jeffers, a light heavyweight clash. This one is very intriguing to myself. I love the main event, but this fight right here is one to keep an eye on. Willy Hutchinson is the former amateur star who is 17-1, 13 KOs, and he faces the English contender Mark Jeffers, who is 17-1 with 4 KOs. This is a 10-round light heavyweight bout going down in this fight as well. I'm very intrigued by this fight. For Willy Hutchinson, I'm someone that's very, very high on this man. I love the way he fights. I think it's a very entertaining style. And he suffered that loss about a little bit ago now, Joshua Buatsi. But he's been rebuilding himself, and he's had a good run to this point in time. Now he's been able to thrive. He's now at 175 with 3 straight stoppage wins. He's been dominant for Willy Hutchinson. I love the way he's been fighting as of late. And this is a man that I said, I think he's still a very talented fighter. There's a lot of great names at light heavyweight that's put himself into an interesting position here. But for Willy Hutchinson, he's coming off that loss to Joshua Buatsi a little bit ago. He now gets to return. That fight now was actually just a little bit over a year ago, Joshua Buatsi. I had to pull up the exact date. It was in 2024 on September 21st. So we're going just about a little bit over a year without him being in the ring. He's now returning to the ring. We'll be fighting here, and he's now going to have his coming off of his second career defeat in his life. I love Willy Hutchinson, though. I think he's a fun fighter. I think he's easily could get his name right back into the mix at the light heavyweight division. And as for Mark Jeffers, this is a man who we all were proclaiming to be a very good up-and-coming prospect. He's now had a little bit of a slip-up when he lost to Hemphill, 4 or 5 months ago. Now, Hemphill obviously went on to lose in his fight on the Misfits boxing card just a couple weeks ago. And so that loss looks even worse on Mark Jeffers' record. And this could be an interesting situation because if you are Mark Jeffers, you were going to have yourselves lined up to go out there and fight Callum Simpson. We all thought that was going to be the fight he was going to make. He was going to have happen. And for one reason or another, Boxer did not make that fight happen. Mark Jeffers gets upset by Sean Hemphill. Sean Hemphill loses his fight. So now that loss really looks really bad. And potentially now, Mark Jeffers could be in a position where he loses to Willy Hutchinson as well, and he's now looking right dead at in the face a 2 loss on his resume back to back. So for Mark Jeffers, it's going to be a very interesting situation for himself. I think that when this fight comes to fruition, that we're going to see Willy Hutchinson have a late round stoppage. Now, Mark Jeffers could very easily pull off the big upset here and defeat Willy Hutchinson. I would not be shocked to see that happen. However, I just see Willy Hutchinson getting the edge in this fight. I think he's a better fighter. I think he's more experienced. He has a better names on his resume. Mark Jeffers has not fought on the stage in his career yet, and it could very well be in a position where Mark Jeffers will go. I think he's going to be in a position where he has 2 straight losses in his career, where Willy Hutchinson will be back on the stage, have another good win on his resume, and start working his way back up the light heavyweight rankings. So that's how I see it happening, but I am very intrigued by this fight, and I cannot wait to see this one happen. Other notable fights on the card include Reagan Glacken. She's fighting Laurie O'Doherty for the vacant British lightweight title. Ashton Brown versus Paul King for the vacant Celtic middleweight title. Marcus Sutherland will be fighting Harsh Sahora, super bantamweight fight. And then Reece Lynch, the young up-and-coming prospect from Scotland, potential future of Scotland boxing. He'll be making his next return to the ring at the welterweight division. So all those fights will be going down in just about 12-ish hours. But let's go ahead and do some boxing news now. I'm going to give you some fight news, and then I'm going to give you some contractual news that I also want to get into as well. The fight news includes this. Here's a fight we could have happen. Callum Smith, David Morrell, likely for early 2026. Eddie Hearn says this. We have talked to His Excellency about staging Callum Simpson versus David Morrell as part of a Saudi Arabia in early 2026. We pretty much agreed that. I think you'll see that fight land in Saudi Arabia, hopefully early 2026. I like that fight a lot. You know, Callum Smith was the one I wanted to see him fight David Benavidez. I thought that would have been a much better matchup than Anthony Yarde. It is what it is. Callum Smith, he obviously is ready for a big fight. Getting a fight against David Morrell could set him up for a big position to challenge for a world championship as well. So Callum Simpson and David Morrell is likely for early 2026. But at the same time, for David Morrell, that could be his big boost to get another big fight after his David Benavidez fight earlier this year. He obviously had a phenomenal performance in July, so we'll see what happens there. IBF officially now orders Andy Cruz versus Raymond Muratalla. The IBF has now ordered this fight and Raymond Muratalla to defend his lightweight world title against Andy Cruz next, Eddie Hearn has said. All right, here's the interesting part about this situation. Raymond Muratalla was given a perfect opportunity to go out there and get a fight in prior to the Andy Cruz fight. For one reason or another, he stalled himself out, didn't get in position. Now, you could blame Top Rank for this one. Obviously, they don't have a TV deal. I've been very outspoken about that. But for Andy Cruz, he is in a position right now where he's going to get his world title shot opportunity. IBF has now granted him that, and Raymond Muratalla never got a chance to defend that belt prior to Andy Cruz. So we're in for one heck of a fight. This is a true 50-50 fight in my eyes. I'm ecstatic for it. I love this fight going down right now, and I might even give a slight edge to Andy Cruz, but only time will tell there. Diego Pacheco is expected to return on December 13th. Eddie Hearn has confirmed that unbeaten super middleweight contender Diego Pacheco will return to the ring on a Matchroom US show on December 13th in the West Coast. Excited to see him back in there. Hopefully he continues to build himself up. Obviously coming off of a not very entertaining, but a good enough fight performance to get a win against Trevor McCumbee. Hopefully it's a better performance from him on December 13th, but he will be returning to the ring then. Rashidi Ellis also will be returning to the ring shortly on November 1st against Javier Fortuna. And then Khalil Coe. He has been forced to withdraw from his 10-round fight, light heavyweight fight on October 11th against Jesse Hart due to injury. This was a fight I was looking forward to. Khalil Coe's coming off of the phenomenal performance earlier this year where he revenged himself by going to Mexico and putting on that great show. Now he's hurt for some reason. I don't know the extent to this injury, but that fight against Jesse Hart is now off. Here's the final thing I want to get into on tonight's show. It is in regarding to Ben Whittaker. Eddie Hearn makes a statement on Ben Whittaker that I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on it. I think Ben's talking to everybody at the moment. I think his position is that he'll want to make a move as best for his career. From my position, Ben Whittaker would be the greatest signing right now you could probably make in British boxing. I think this guy is the biggest star in British boxing. That is Eddie Hearn on Ben Whittaker. All right, here's my thoughts on this, folks. And I've hinted at my thoughts on this prior, but I'm going to go all in on this right now. If you are Ben Whittaker, you know how to market yourself better than just about every other boxer currently in boxing, especially amongst all the prospects in boxing. He has a larger name, brand, and image than just about any other young fighter up and coming in the boxing scene today. He also is a phenomenally talented fighter. He is somebody that causes controversy. People talk about him. He's got the entire marketing, and he has a skill set to make himself into a not just a star, but a superstar in boxing if all things fall into place. So if you are Ben Whittaker and you have the opportunity to choose your promoter right now, which let me make this very clear, if he's no longer going to be a boxer, almost every single door will be wide open to Ben Whittaker to choose where he wants to sign. And if I'm Ben Whittaker, I'm looking at all those offers. I look at boxer right now, and there's no way in the world I'm re-signing a boxer. If I am Ben Whittaker and I can choose somewhere, and I want to stay on the British boxing scene, Eddie Hearn's the place to go. If you are Eddie Hearn and Matchroom, this is the man you have to go get. And if you're Ben Whittaker, you look at this opportunity with Matchroom, and you know that's a perfect signing for yourself. Eddie Hearn knows how to develop stars amongst some of the best in all the world right now. He knows how to turn guys into becoming legitimate boxing superstars, how to sell tickets, how to do all those different aspects. He is one of, if not the best in the game right now at doing that. And so if you are Ben Whittaker and you have the opportunity to sign somewhere, I would go sign with Matchroom. Go with Eddie Hearn, and I believe that Eddie Hearn and Matchroom partnering up with Ben Whittaker would form one heck of a duo on the British and worldwide boxing scene, both now and for years to come. Because if you're Ben Whittaker, you can't keep wasting time at boxer where they just don't know what they're doing with you. Yes, the Liam Cameron rematch was phenomenal for your career, but it is time to start building yourself back up, staying consistent in that ring, and working your way up, not just the rankings, but also building your name up into making yourself a true superstar in boxing. And I think he has that potential, but he's only going to reach his full potential with a legitimate boxing promoter that understands who he is and his potential. And I believe that man right there would be Eddie Hearn and Matchroom. So if you're Ben Whittaker, that's the move I think he should make, and I would not be shocked to see him make that move either. With that being said, as I said, tonight was going to be a very short show. Just was going to give you guys that fight preview, some boxing news. I'll be back live on Monday. I know the past couple of weeks have been a little bit hectic in life, and so I will be getting back into a lot more guests scheduled for next week. I've got 2 guests on Monday's show who will be announced on Monday. It will be a basketball and a boxing show as well. So tune in on Monday. I've got a lot of stuff coming next week for you guys. Hopefully you guys have a blessed rest of your guys' day. Also have a blessed weekend. Enjoy the fights this weekend, and I'll see you guys back live on Monday. May God bless you guys all. With that being said, SchuZ out, and God bless you guys.